Okay, today we are going to take an example of some exception handling programs. The first example will be related to assert statement. Okay, so in Python, whenever the Python interpreter encounters an assert statement, it evaluates the accompanying expression, okay, which is hopefully true. And if it is not true, Python raises an assert error exception. Okay. Now, assert error exception is one type of an exception which is available under the base class exception. Okay. There are many different types of exceptions which are available in Python. If you want to catch individual exceptions, we can make use of the exception names while writing the except block. Okay, and give the messages or perform any operations which is required to be done in the exception itself. Let us take one small example where we will take the input from the user and convert the temperature into Fahrenheit. So we will take Kelvin and convert that into Fahrenheit. So let us begin with writing an example or defining a function. So as you know, we begin with the def keyword followed by the name of the function. So I'll use Kelvin to Fahrenheit. Okay. And I'll pass a parameter here, which will be the temperature in Kelvin. So let us write temp. Okay. Followed this by a colon. In this, as I told you, I will be using not the try and the catch block, or not the try and the except block. I will be using the keyword assert, A-S-S-E-R-T. Okay. So your assert statement is used for debugging your expression. Assert is followed by the expression which you want to check for. So here I want to check if the temperature which the user has passed, if it is greater than equal to 0. Okay. I want it to perform the operation. If it is not, if it is less than 0, that means if the temperature is negative, I want it to raise the assert error exception. Okay. So my condition I can write here, say temp. If it is greater than equal to 0, no problem. But if this condition is false, then I want it to raise the assert exception and display this message. So that message which I wanted to display is, I can write colder than absolute. Zero. Okay. And I put a exclamation mark. Now try to understand how this line number 9 will be executed. When it sees the keyword assert there, it'll check the expression, and the expression given here is temp, that is my temperature, greater than equal to 0. If it is greater than or equal to 0, the exception will not be raised. Okay, we'll go to the next line. Let us say on the next line, I'm calculating the temperature. Let us say F equal to, the formula is temperature minus 273. Okay, this whole thing has to be multiplied by, so I'll put this in round brackets here. This has to be multiplied by 1.8. Okay, and again this whole thing has to be in bracket, and you add 32 to this. This will convert my Kelvin to Fahrenheit and store it in F. And then I can put my return statement, return F. Okay, clear? So this completes my function, which is having assert statement. Let us call this function now. So here I'll directly use the print statement, and in the print statement I'll make a call to this function. So Kelvin, Fahrenheit, and I'm going to pass some temperature, let us say 270, okay, as my temperature, the value. Again, one more print statement. So Kelvin, and this time let me pass a decimal value, say 505 point something, so 89. Okay, and finally I'll display, we'll call this function with a negative value. Okay, the negative value, let us put minus, say any value 56. Fine. And when I execute, let us first of all, I'll mark this as a comment. We'll run with proper values and see whether we are getting the answers. So now when I run this, I get the two answers, 26.6 for the first value, that is 270. And for the next value, I get 451.202. Now let me remove this comment and now execute this. Okay, here you can see now what is happening. The error, you can see this one, assertion error. So it has raised this error, and the message which we had given, this was the message older than absolute zero that has been displayed here. Okay, so whenever you have expressions to be evaluated, it is like using your if condition, where you check whether the condition is true or false. If it is false, you do something else. If it is true, you execute the if block. Okay, it is similar to that, but here it is meant for exception handling. Okay, any doubts here? Please remember, whenever there's an expression which has to be evaluated, you can make use of the assert statement to handle the exception. Okay, let us go ahead and write one more exception handling code. So I'll create a new file. Okay, this time I'll be calling a function, and we'll catch this exception in a exception type. Okay, one of the exception type we'll use and check whether we can display the messages for the problem. Now the definition or the function which I'll be using here is a simple one, where I'll convert a value into integer and just return it back. So I'll define a function called temp underscore variable, or convert. Let us put convert. So this is my function, convert underscore val. Okay, and here I'll pass a value, say var is my variable parameter. Okay, and inside this, now I'm going to make use of the try block. Now try block will have the statement where my error can occur. Okay, here I want to return the conversion. I'll convert the value into integer. So I'll use the int function to convert the value. Okay, the variable is var. If suppose Python is not able to convert this value which is passed to this function into integer, exception will be raised. Okay, and if there's an exception, it will jump to the except block. So here we write the except block. Now, if you remember last time we had directly put a colon here. So all the exceptions were able to be handled by only giving the except keywords. Now, if I want to handle a specific error, okay, I can make use of the name of the exception. Now, the exception here will be the value error. So name of my exception here is value error. Okay, as E. Now, E will contain the messages or the values which I want to display. Okay, the type of error it is that will come in my E variable. Okay, here I'll give the print statement to display what is there in E, what type of error it was. So I can use either I can use E directly and print whatever the messages are there, or I can make use of E dot args, that is my arguments, and the first argument in this you can see object E. Here object E is an object of which class? Class value error. Okay, please remember we are still not done classes and objects, but let me tell you, this is a class here, and this E is an object of this class. Okay, let me give 0 as the parameter here. So in my first argument, my first index position, 0. Okay, there'll be some string saved there. I want to display that. Clear? Once I display that, I'll get to know what type of an error it is. And I'll get to know the exact message. If you want to display your own messages, you can also do that. Okay. No need of writing any exit or return statement right now. I'll go to the next line here and make a call to this function. So name of my function is convert underscore val. And to this, I want to pass a parameter. So if I pass 23.67, okay, and run this, you can see I'll get the answer. Okay, I have not printed the answer. I have not. So I'll give the print statement here. Print into brown bracket convert. And now I'll run this. You can see this value has been returned. 23 has been returned and it is printed. Now, if instead of this, if I give a string value, let us put some XYZ here and now execute this. Okay, now you can see this message coming invalid literal for int with base 10. Okay, and the value it is showing me is XYZ. So it is not able to convert the string into the integer base of 10. Okay, and here you can see this also none been printed. This is printed because of the print statement here. Okay, whenever we make a call from here, when it comes back, because there's nothing which is returned from this function, it is going to give me none. If you want, like instead of giving these arguments, I can also give print into bracket E. So whatever is stored in the object E, everything will be displayed. So here again, you can see the same message has been displayed. Or if you want, you can write a new message, error, while converting the value. Okay. And if you want, you can also make use of the value which is there, the actual system error which is there, and I can also display E. Okay, both ways you can do it. So I'll run both of them. So here you get error while converting the value, and on the next line I get invalid, literal for int. Clear? So here you can see the example here just shows you if I have some different type of an error or a particular error which has to be caught, I can make use of the name of the class or the name of the error or the exception which can be handled using this keyword except. Okay. Now there's one more example where we can make use of the finally block. Okay. Like if those who have done Java before, okay, we also have a block called finally block. So let us take one example here. Of course, I'll create a new file. Okay. In this example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a file and try to write something into it. And if I'm not able to write into it, I'll throw an exception. Okay. Usually the name of the exception can be, file not found exception, or file related exceptions can be used. But in this example, I'll be using the finally keyword or the finally block. And I'll also show you how to write a nested try block. So let us take an example here. I directly start with my try block. Okay. In this, I'm going to open a file. Now to open a file, we have a function called open, and it returns a handle to a variable. So I can have a variable here, say file handle equal to open is my function. Into round bracket, the first parameter is the name of the file which you want to open it. So let us give in double quotes. You can say trial file.txt. Okay. Comma. The second parameter is the mode parameter. Now I want to open this in write mode. Okay. So for write mode, I make use of W. Okay. This much is enough to open a file. Okay. And assign it to FH. Now using FH, I can write into this file. Okay. Or I can also read from this file. Okay. The reason why I cannot read right now is because I have opened the file in the write mode. Now to write into this file, I can use fh.function write. Okay, and let us directly give a statement here. This is my test file for exception handling. Okay, this is the message I want to print. Now, the error can occur on line number 9 as well as on line number 10. Please remember, while opening a file, some exception can occur. Okay, while writing into the file, another exception can occur. So either you write one try block, okay, and here you can write the except keyword, whatever error occurs, I can just print the message. So error, let me put only error right now. And using system sys.exit, I can terminate my program. Okay, and one more thing I need to do, because I'm using the sys module, I need to import it. So I'll give import sys. Okay, let us run this and check whether I'm able to create a file. There's no error here. That means a file has been created. Let me check where the file has gone. So I'll just open my browser and go to the C drive, users, Dell. Okay, all my files are here, and I'll click on date modified. You can see this trial file. Let us open this file. Okay, there's nothing here. It's not able to write into this. Okay, let me check what happened. Come back to the program. Okay, trial.txt, write, fh.write, and exception handling. Now, I'll do one thing. I'll include this line, the second line, into the try block and then check it out what is happening. So I'll put a block here, and instead of except, okay, I think because we did not close the file, that was the error. So in the except, I can just, from here, I can come out the try block, and I put the finally block now instead of the except block. Okay, in this I can write print, and let us say I'm closing the file. I'm going to close. Close the file, and to close the file, I can use fh.close. So close is my function to close my file which is open. Okay, now I am not going to write this part here. Okay, and instead of only except, I'll make use of the specific error for file handling, and that exception name is IO error, input output error. So I'll use this class. Okay, and I don't need any object of this error. I'll just put a colon here and give a print statement and give the error message saying error cannot, or I can say can't. Now, while I want to display a single quote here, so to display a single quote inside the print through the print statement, okay, I have to put a slash and a single quote. Otherwise, it is not going to display the single quote here. So error can't find the file or read the file. Okay, so read the file, and I put a slash n. Okay, so now let us explain, let us see what this program is doing. Okay, first, I do not require the sys anymore. Right? I have a try block here. In this, I'm executing this line. If there's an error, okay, it will jump to this except block, okay, and display this error message. Okay, but if suppose it is able to open the file, Then it is going to go further. On line number 11, I have written one more try block. Okay, so it is going to execute this line number 12, where we say fh.write. Okay, so we are writing a statement or a string into the file. And finally, now what is this finally block? Now whether the error occurs or no, it is going to execute these two lines. Okay, so even if the error occurs, it is going to go and execute line number 14 and 15. If it does not occur, still it is going to go there and execute these two lines. One more thing, if I'm using the try block, now in this case it is a nested one, but if I'm using only a single try, I cannot use except followed by the finally block. So either you use the except block for the try block which you have written, or you can use the finally block. The only difference between both of them is the except block will execute only when there's an error, whereas the finally block will execute irrespective of whether you get the error or not. Okay, so in this case, what is going to happen is, if I'm able to open the file in write mode, I'll write into it. If there is no error, nothing will be printed, but finally, I'll get this statement going to close the file and it will close my file. Okay, so let me run this line or the whole program. Okay, and as you can see, it displays me going to close the file. Let us go to the folder and check whether anything is written into this file. Okay, here it is. This is my test file for exception handling. Okay, I'll close this. I'll make some small change to my file. What I'll do is, I'll change the property of this file. So I'll right click, go to the properties. Okay, and here you can see it is the attributes. I'll make it as read only. So I click on this, I apply the property read only. Okay, go back to my program back. Okay, now because this file is already there and I have changed the property to read only, I won't be able to write into this file. So there will be some exception. Okay, let us run this now. Okay, you can see this error message, can't find the file or read the file. So my first error is occurring here itself on line number 10. When I try to open the file and I want to open it in which mode? In the write mode. Now, because it is a read-only file, the exception occurs here and it jumps to this except block here. And on the except line number 17 in the except block, I have written a print statement that gets executed. Okay, I'll make a small change. Instead of write, I'll open this into a read mode. Now it is in read mode, and still if I try to write it, what will happen? The error will occur here. Okay, now whether I get this error message or I get this going to close the file, let us see this. So I execute. Now I get both the messages. You can see this going to close the file, and I also get the error message, this one. Fine. So what is happening? It is executing the finally block, irrespective of whether I'm able to write into the file or I'm not able to write into the file. And because I've opened the file in read mode, first of all, you cannot write into it because it is in read mode. Any doubts here? Okay, no doubts. Let us go ahead and try to use or create a file, how to check whether if I want to raise an exception, okay, manually, instead of the compiler or the interpreter raising the exception, if I want to raise an exception based on some condition, how do I do that? So I'll create another file here. We'll take a small example. Let us write a function here. So I have some function called fun, okay, and I'll pass a value here, say val, cool. Now, if the value which is passed is, let us say, less than 1, okay, I want to raise an exception. Okay, so to raise an exception manually, so passing a value 1 is not an error which Python will recognize with, right? This is a condition which we are taking it, and we want to raise an exception. To do that, I make use of the keyword raise and followed by the class here exception. So I give, and if you want to pass some value or string here, I can pass value is less than 1. Okay, and I also display the number which is there in the variable value. Okay, and if there's no problem, I just give the return statement. And if you want to pass anything, you can. So I'll pass the value itself back. And let us make a call to this function. So I'll put the try block. Okay, I'll write L or NO. Let us put NO number equal to the name of the function, say fun, into bracket. I first pass a number. Let us put a negative number -10. Okay, and in the try block, we also have to print the exception which will occur. If there's no error, I'll print the value here. So I'll give print here, print value or val equal to, I can write, and the number which is returned back. One more thing I'll do is I multiply this by 5 to make some sense here. Okay. If there's an error, let us write the except block. So in the except, because I have given raise exception, I'll write except exception here. Okay, so this exception will be raised from this line number 10 if the value is less than 1. Okay, and because I'm passing a string and some value here, okay, I can, or let us give only the error message less than 1, and I can write as E here, exception. Clear? Whatever is stored in E, I'll print it in the except block. So I can write here error and comma, I can print E dot args square bracket 0. Okay. This completes my print statement. Let us execute this line now, the whole program, and check what happens. Okay. Now you can see I'm getting the error. Value is less than 1 because as soon as I pass -10, this if condition gets evaluated to true, and I raise the exception, it jumps back to this except block here and prints this line. Okay. If I put a positive number, say 10, and now run this, okay, I get the value as 50. 10 multiplied by 5, which is 50. Okay. Now this is all we will do. We will be doing in exception handling. Now I'll the keyword which I've used here, exception. Please remember this is one of your base class of all the exceptions. Okay. So whether it is a value exception or overflow error or floating point error, or if you're trying to divide a number by 0, that is 0 divide error. Okay. Or the assertion error which we just saw. Okay, all these errors are under the base class exception. So if you forget the name of the exception which you want to use, simply what you can do is use the base class exception, just create an object of that, and whatever message if you want, you can display it here. Clear? There are many exceptions, so whenever we do some more exception handling, especially when we start with file handling and all, okay, we will see some exceptions that time as well. Okay. Any doubts you have? Please ask me any questions if you have. Okay. One more thing. Now we can also create user-defined exceptions, but as exceptions are not part of your syllabus, okay, and it is not expected that you'll be writing user-defined functions or exceptions, and neither we have completed the topic on classes and objects. So when we complete this topic on classes and objects in Python, we'll see one example of how to create a user-defined exception. Okay, even though it is not part of your syllabus, you do require exception handling, so that whenever you are writing programs, you should know how to handle the errors or syntax errors, or wherever the statements or operations where exceptions can occur in a proper way, instead of allowing Python to generate its own traceback and give you the error messages. Clear? So we'll stop here. And when we come next, we're going to start with object-oriented concepts in Python. Now, all those who have already done Java or C++ might be aware of all the object-oriented concepts like overloading, inheritance, overriding. Okay, you might be aware of what classes are, objects are. But we'll start with some basic concepts of object-oriented in Python. Okay, for all those who are new to programming. Okay, so there are something called concept like instance variable, how to create an object, and all that stuff. So we'll stop here today. I'll stop the screen share, and if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat.